Just ahead on CTV News, Governor Moore signs an executive order to create the state's Plain Language Initiative.
It should not be so difficult for Marylanders to access the programs and services that they need and the programs and services that they deserve.
And the county's youth Democrats host a forum with candidates seeking to fill the vacant at-large seat. Plus,
if you're afraid to drive over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, one service is allowing them to do it for you. We'll have more details on that story in just a few minutes.
Those stories and more on CTV News starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for July 24th. I'm Katara Jones.
And I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaks to Congress today, seeking support for the country's war in Gaza.
The visit has drawn thousands of protesters to the Capitol. The crowds are protesting what they call crimes committed by Israel in Gaza, including the killings of more than 39,000 Palestinians. Police deployed pepper spray on the crowd as they called for a ceasefire and for the U.S. to end their support of the war. The U.S. is an important ally for Israel, and Netanyahu says the two countries standing together will defeat their common enemies.
For the forces of civilization to triumph, America and Israel must stand together. Because when we stand together, something very simple happens. We win, they lose.
And a number of congressional Democrats boycotted Prime Minister Netanyahu's speech this afternoon, including at least two from Maryland. Senator Chris Van Hollen skipped the session. In a floor speech yesterday, Van Hollen condemned Israel's prosecution of the war in Gaza. Representative Kawisi Mfume is also among those who boycotted the speech over the war. In his role as chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator Ben Cardin presided over the joint session, along with House Speaker Mike Johnson. Steny Hoyer attended, as did Congressman Glenn Ivey.
The U.S. Secret Service has named new leadership. It follows yesterday's resignation of Kimberly Cheadle, who has headed the agency since 2022. Ronald Rowe Jr. has been named acting director. Prior to his appointment, Rowe served as deputy director of the Secret Service, where he was responsible for the agency's daily investigative and protective operations. Rowe earned a bachelor's degree in criminology and criminal justice from the University of Maryland, College Park.
Today is the 34th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and to mark that occasion, Governor Wes Moore signs an executive order to make communication more accessible across the state. It's called the Maryland Plain Language Initiative, and it will establish standards for any state of Maryland communication to be written in plain language. That means without technical terms or government jargon. Governor Moore says this doesn't just benefit people with disabilities, but gives all Marylanders better access to government services.
If a Maryland family cannot understand updates about a hurricane in their community because our website is hard to read, that's not good government. This executive order will help to ensure that every piece of writing that comes out of this administration in print and online is simple, accessible, proofwritten, and easy to read.
Some members of the Maryland State Board of Education are skeptical of a draft policy that could hold back third graders. The draft comes from the state superintendent, Carrie Wright. Some members say they don't like the retention policy, indicating it could be harmful to children. The policy is similar to the one implemented in Mississippi, where Wright served as state superintendent from 2013 to 2022. She's credited with increasing literacy scores in the state. The Maryland School Board's August meeting will feature public comment on the draft policy.
Well, one roadblock is cleared in the path to rebuilding the Key Bridge in Baltimore. Maryland transportation officials received federal environmental approvals for the rebuild plan. The approval means the project is not expected to have any major impact on the surrounding environment. The state will not have to complete any environmental assessment before moving ahead with the project. And the Department of Transportation is still accepting proposals from general engineering consultants to take on the $75 million contract. The agency is expected to award that contract in February.
We're tackling a common fear that's affecting many commuters, the fear of bridges. It's no laughing matter. It can really put the brakes on your day, but there's a solution to help you across the Chesapeake Bridge with confidence. Requests have been pouring in, especially since Baltimore's key bridge collapse. CTV's Michaela Newton shows us how it works.
All right, Canal Express. This time of year, we're averaging probably between 25 and 35 a day. We drive all different kinds of vehicles.
The fear of bridges is no joke. It can really stop you in your tracks. But don't worry, there are ways to cross the Chesapeake Bay Bridge when you get there.
A lot of our customers, I mean a lot, do not like the fact that they can't see the crest of the bridge.
The bridge tower is approximately 186 feet tall, and for many drivers, it's a 5 to 10 minute nerve-wracking journey. Imagine you're a commuter, but you're scared to drive over the 186 feet tall Chesapeake Bay Bridge. Well, the Kent Island Express allows you to meet at a designated location. Right now, I'm on Kent Island. I'm gonna hop right back into my car where the driver, Stephen Eskew, is actually going to drive my very own car back over the bridge.
Ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
At the Kent Island Express, Stephen Eskew deals with nervous customers every day.
In a perfect world, the customer calls us an hour ahead of time. We put them on a schedule, and then they call us again. If they're going eastbound, they call us from Annapolis. That will let us know that they're close to the bridge. Then we meet them just before the bridge on the right. There's a way station where we meet them. We'll get into their vehicle. They get into their back seat or passenger seat, whatever they're comfortable with. We drive them across and drop them off on a safe spot on the other side.
It's called gyrophobia, and it's a real fear, according to the National Institute of Mental Health. And for those seeking reassurance, Kent Island Express operates 24/7, 365 days a year.
Thank you, Michaela, for shedding light on this unique service. For more information for all you nervous drivers, contact 410-604-0486.
Katera, do you ever get nervous driving over bridges?
I don't find it that hard for me.
No, but I'm glad that that's out there for all those people that have been worried about that.
Absolutely. Now you're watching CTV News. I'm Katera Jones.
And I'm Mariah Jalad. Still to come, if your family is looking for a safe way to beat the heat this weekend, one local department has just the thing.
That story and more after the break.
I wish people knew that when you live in a small town like mine, it's much harder to find friends with common interests, especially ones my age. I often feel really alone.
Same here. Seems like every time we finally settle somewhere, I have to pack up and move again. By the time I make a friend, a real friend, I have to say goodbye to them.
I totally get it. I live in a big city, but it can feel just as lonely. It's tough, but it gets easier.
Honestly,
I totally get what you're going through.
it's nice to know that you feel the same.
You enjoyed my story. I really enjoyed your story as well.
Welcome back. A local advocacy group is hoping to make one of the area's deadliest roads safer. The 210 Traffic Safety Committee is hosting a meeting this Saturday to honor the scores of people who have been killed in traffic accidents on that highway. The group has invited elected officials in hopes of pushing forth legislation that will significantly increase fines on that road.
I do believe that the fine issue is like a spoke in the wheel to make that change. It's a significant spoke that in terms of increasing from a $40 static structure, that no matter what speed you go, you only pay $40. with this change in speed that we're trying to get pushed through with the next year's legislation, it will be a tier level where faster you're going, you're going to pay a higher cost, up to over $500 for those who are speeding over 100 miles per hour.
The event goes from 11 a.m. to 1 at Harmony Hall, 10701 Livingston Road in Fort Washington.
A former correctional dietary officer pleads guilty to employee misconduct. The suspect is A.G. Myers, a former correctional officer for the Maryland Correctional Institute for Women. The Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services received information that Myers was involved in a romantic relationship with an incarcerated person last year. Investigation reveals that Myers gave the incarcerated person money for her commissary account and provided unauthorized privileges.
And Prince George's County's Young Democrats and Democratic Central Committee host a candidate forum ahead of the County Council special election. 6 of the Democrat candidates for the council at-large seat had the opportunity to share their vision for the county. Questions came from the host committees and from the community and focused on topics important to the county.
It's a variety of it on housing, school system, it's on criminal justice, it's on who they are as people and what we expected if they are able to win this candidacy, what we expect them to do as a county council at-large member.
I think we need to have more forums like this in the future at the local level. I've been touched by, or told by many neighbors and friends today that this was necessary, and even an elected official told me that it has the power to shift this election.
And the special election takes place August 6th. If your kids are looking to get into any water activities this weekend, then you might want to head over to Goodwin Park in Seat Pleasant.
The Seat Pleasant Police Department is holding their 2024 Splash Party this Saturday from 2 to 6 p.m. The event includes water slides, food trucks, dunk tanks, and so much more. This year's exclusive activity features a slime war.
We're looking for more than what we had in last year. This event just bridges the gap between the community and the police department.
I'm excited. Every year we continue to grow, and we have so far over 100 people registered for the event. So I'm excited, and I'm gonna put him in the dunk tank. He's gonna start off in the dunk tank.
He will be first.
Yeah.
If you would like the opportunity to dunk Officer Smith or Officer Miller, you can find the link to register on the Seat Pleasant Police Department's Instagram page.
The Montgomery County School District will be expanding a popular racket sport beginning this fall. Pickleball will now be offered as a varsity sport at all 25 MCPS high schools. Through a pilot program, the district began providing pickleball as a corollary sport at only 11 high schools last year. With the expansion, the sport will afford more students, including those with disabilities, an opportunity to get involved in interscholastic athletics.
Maryland Terrapin fans will have some new updates to their season ticket experience come the 2025-2026 season. The season tickets will affect the football and basketball home game schedules. Some of the added experiences include wider, more comfortable seating in both SECU Stadium and Xfinity Center, exclusive bar, dining, lounge, and enhanced game day experience for the Maryland Club will be introduced, and so much more. For more information, visit umterps.com/nextera.
Many Americans are feeling the impact of inflation at the grocery store. But did you know that there are ways to save while shopping? Retail experts say using coupons is a great way to save on groceries. Apps like Flip or Ibotta are great tools that offer coupons. Also, try creating a budget of how much you want to spend and stick to it. Another good tip is to review the items you already have in your home before going to the grocery store. Shopping online is also a great way for customers to look for the best prices. And still to come on CTV News, Simon Buggs has the Wednesday Sports page.
That's right, and he's talking Commanders football as the team prepares for the upcoming season. Back in a moment.
What's going on, sports fans? And coming right up, Commanders head coach Dan Quinn speaks on the message he gave his team before the start of training camp. I'll reveal what he had to say in a bit. Don't move.
Might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. You may not even know you have it, but you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand. With early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
All right, everybody, get pumped because it's time for your midweek sports page. Beginning with some NFL news, the Washington Commanders continue to gear up for the 2024 season as the team began training camp earlier today. Now, Washington has a lot to accomplish in the 6 weeks they have before the start of next season, and head coach Dan Quinn revealed what his message was to the rookies and vets on the team going into today.
There's a lot that we want to get accomplished regarding identity, over the next 6 weeks to go. And that type of work and championship standards and everything that we do, knowing that it'll be challenging and it'll be tough and demanding, but it's also going to be a blast and we're going to have a great time. So those two things can go together. Their connection will be what makes it. It's not an offense or a defense or a special teams. We're one group. We compete hard with one another, but at the end of it, we're all competing for the same team. And so always remembering that too.
Quinn also touched on the level of energy the team has had during the offseason as well.
I've been to some camps where you come in not tired, but here we go, again, and it's been just the opposite here. And so to see that kind of energy, the guys, so excited to be around one another. Quite honestly, they were here a little early. And 2 days ago, can I go in the meeting? Yes, go, say hello to the guys. So to say that they wanted to get going, that told me a lot about their connection so far.
Man, I really hope my Commanders can make some noise this season. Moving on to more football news, the preseason All-CIAA team was recently announced, and a player from the Bowie State football team made the list in defensive back Devin Williams. The Waldorf, Maryland native had a good season for the Bulldogs last year. Williams recorded 11 pass breakups as well as 3 picks on his way to earning first-team All-Conference honors. Also, the Bulldogs were picked to finish 5th in the CIAA preseason poll. Williams and the rest of the Bulldogs will open up this season versus Lenoir-Rhyne on the road on September 7th. Meanwhile, the Team USA women's basketball team took down Germany yesterday in an exhibition game, 84-57. The team's next game will be in the Olympics as they will take the court against Japan on July 29th. And wrapping up sports, the Baltimore Orioles began their series with the Miami Marlins with a loss yesterday, 6-3. The Birds will try to bounce back tonight at 6:40. The Nats were also in action yesterday and got shut out by the San Diego Padres 4-0. Washington and San Diego will take the diamond again tonight at 6:45. And that wraps up your Wednesday sports page. Simon Bucks, CTV Sports.
Thank you, Simon. Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, expect scattered showers and thunderstorms. Thursday, those storms are sticking around throughout the day and we'll have a high of 85.
Friday, we get a beautiful start to the weekend. We're looking at a high of 88 and low of 67. Saturday, expect more clear skies. We're looking at a high of 89.
And now a look at our community calendar. Do you love to crochet? Would you like to learn? Well, tomorrow morning, the New Carrollton Library is hosting a pins and needles class.
Beginners are welcome and materials will be provided for first-time participants. The class will be taking place from 10 a.m. to noon. For more information, contact 240-455-5451.
And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.